All right. Hey, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Kofi and Alfred, my friends from Ghana.
Guys.
So I just want you guys to get to know them a little bit. So Kofi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a character designer based in Accra, Ghana. I like to create characters, tell stories about the worlds they live in. I've worked on a couple of projects. That's just a little bit about what I do.
Nice. And Alfred?
I'm Alfred Achiampong Jr., also from Accra, Ghana. I'm a character designer and I do a bit of biz dev art as well. Similar to Kofi, I also like to create unique characters, especially playing with shape design and pushing colors as well. And aside that, also make sure my characters are unique, very interesting, and equally tell a story as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy you guys' characters. I feel like you guys have good taste. It's what you do is very bold and fun. Let's look back a little bit. If you have experiences from back in the days when you were learning, whether it was alone or together, finding places where you can meet other artists, get to know people and create those connections, that stay with you.
So I think it's difficult to talk about my journey without including Kofi. So obviously, disclaimer, he's going to feature a lot in there. I think the dynamic of us starting out is a bit different because we live in a part of the world where character design, or should I say the art industry, isn't as big a thing. When I started, I was in business school. Kofi is the one who actually roped me into the art industry. He showed me what concept art looked like. And obviously, I had a bit of skill. I had a bit of talent. But then I didn't know that you could actually market yourself as an artist and actually make money from being an artist. As I said earlier, art isn't something that's seen as a laudable career path in our part of the world. The typical career path would be being an engineer, being a lawyer, being a doctor. So for us, it was deviating from the norm, and that would naturally be very difficult. And it took, obviously, support from each other. We didn't have a lot of the tools, but at least we had the internet, which was more than enough. And the rest of it was just pretty much going into scavenger mode and just digging up any information that we could find anywhere we could find it. And over time, also getting into the social media space and then posting online till eventually through, feedback from comments, we knew we were doing the right thing. And now we're at this point.
What kind of places would you start out posting at the very beginning?
So for me, the first places I started posting out were Facebook and DeviantArt, first two places. And I think those were actually the first two places I started to make connections as well, especially with Facebook.
Yeah.
I started to reach out to artists that's through Kofi. Again, I knew, well, these were people who were pretty much considered pros in the industry and trying to get tips on how to improve, how to get better, what my goals and dreams were, and which path I needed to chart to be able to get to that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the two main streams till eventually Instagram became a thing and then started posting on Instagram. And yeah.
We were posting a lot on Facebook groups. Some I distinctly remember was Level Up.
Yeah.
That had a lot of crazy artists posting every day. I remember your group was there. I think it was an art hangout or something like that.
Yeah, Hangout Hub.
And we would hang out on Google Hangout or something. And then also on DeviantArt, there were a lot of communities and a lot of great artists that I found there, and a great community of artists all growing, developing. So that was also a very good place where I started posting. And then once Instagram came into the play, then we started posting there as well. So those are some of the main places that we were posting often.
Awesome. So now that we know a little bit about your history and where you guys started posting, I wanted to know, over the years, I feel like we see different types of people, right? Different types of behaviors, to say it gently. Ourselves too. We grow up, we learn things, we see different dynamics, we have more experiences with conversations and making friends, right? Sure. And I wonder, did you have some behaviors that, whether you saw other people do it or yourself, you're laughing, Kofi, just things where you're thinking, that could have gone better, or I'm glad I learned, or anything like that. Because this talk is going to be, we're trying to really help people feel more comfortable, feel more at ease, and less afraid, you know. And I feel like with information, that's gonna be better from experiences.
Sure. Yeah. When it comes to like building the connections, being part of the community, and the do's and don'ts, when I look back now, I realize there are things that I did that were a bit awkward. But back then, I didn't know. But as I was more or less engaging with the community, I started to understand like, oh, maybe when I'm interacting with people, I should watch how I phrase my words. I shouldn't come at it from an angle of only just trying to take from them. I should also look at it from the perspective of trying to build friendships rather than what can I get from these people? Can I get resources and information from them and just move on to the next person?
Can I get some likes?
Exactly. Can I get some likes? Those kind of things. So,
or follow.
Or follow. Because there would be people who be like, hey, follow me, or like my stuff.
Like right away. And, the first thing they say.
And that would tick me off. And I used to do that kind of stuff way back then. But over time, I realized like, no, that's not how you do it. So now in building relationships in the different communities from Discord, Facebook groups, Instagram, etc., I was rather trying to find people that I felt they had common goals, or they could teach me something and build a friendship, find commonalities. So maybe things that we like, we have similar interests, and then start from there and then build a friendship. Because through the friendship, that's when it blossoms, you get a lot of benefits out of it. But when you come at it from the point of view of like, I want to just take from this person, I feel like they can sense it. And once they sense that energy, they are definitely not going to open up to you as much or give you the help that you would want.
Yeah.
And also, another thing I'll say is don't be afraid to like reach out to artists in the community. There are so many artists out there, from pros to people who might not even necessarily be pros, but they are in the working industry. Feel free to reach out, email people. Don't feel like, oh, this artist is too big. They would never like reply back, that kind of thing. No. Artists are very like cool people. Once they are respectful and honest and they have the time, they will definitely like engage with you.
Especially when you do it in a genuine way, right?
Exactly. So I'll pass it over to Alfred. What would you say about that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kofi touched on a lot of things that I equally agree with.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'll start by talking about is, like he said, the mindset that you approach actually trying to connect to the artist with. I think for me back in the day, obviously my mindset and my focus on everything was on, especially for Instagram, when Instagram was a thing, was on growing a following and becoming, you know, more and more popular as an artist, making sure I could get as many likes as I could. So then I can see how that influenced how I would reach out to people and then try to connect with them. Obviously, as I matured more and more as an artist, those interests started to change. And one of the things Kofi touched on, which was trying to build meaningful connections. So then the narrative wasn't anymore just come and follow me because I think I do great art. But then it was also trying to meet the person on a common ground. One of the things that I realized was actually very helpful was reaching out based on things that you and the artist actually could relate to. For example, anime.
Yeah.
So I remember one of my favorite artists now, someone who is easily a mentor to me, Michael Wandi, who is with 9B Collective now. One of the bases we connected on was on anime, and it was because we both like action-related stuff, fighting-related stuff. So anytime I would post things that have to do with anime, that have to do with fights, he would always react to them, and then I would react to it as well. And through that, we started to build some kind of friendship. And over time now, he managed to get me on projects, and now we have basically a deeper connection there. And another thing that I actually realized as well was not limiting the connection to just what can I get from you in the sense of give me work and then it ends there. So I think beyond that, one of the things that I started to do that I realized helped was caring more about the artist's life, caring more about the person, asking how they're doing, what they're up to, what their interests are, so that then those connections become deeper and more meaningful. And you're actually building a relationship that's leading towards friendship, which will which will always matter more than just a job. I think like what Kofi touched on, these are some of the things that I think beginner artists or people who are now starting to touch points in these areas need to think about, rather than just I don't know, trying to see the best artist looking at your work and then feeling like, oh wow, this kid is a prodigy and is going to be great or something like that. I think another thing that I realized was a major problem for me was when I started, I was very impatient. So what that looked like was I would reach out to an artist who is a pro or something and then get upset because they didn't reply. But the funny thing was I wasn't even considering the fact that they had lives and then they had like jobs and stuff that they were attending to. So then it didn't make sense to expect a reply immediately. And I realized over time they did always reply. It was just a matter of time, really. Because I mean, you're looking at people who have tons and tons of followers. They're definitely not going to be able to go through all their messages and whatnot. So after understanding some of these things, it really changed my approach entirely. And it brought me to this place where I accorded them a lot more respect when it came to reaching out and having conversations with them and just making sure that I would respect their space. And then that way they will respect my space as well. And I think the last thing I would touch on was also connecting to people within a similar circle. So I think some of the artists that I connected to very easily to begin with were other African artists. You're looking at people like Ife Sinachi, Yin Harris, Mohamed Agbadi, Your Tacos, Panda, all those people, Segun Samson, all these people were people who were within my community because they're all African. So we can connect in a certain way. We share similar struggles, similar challenges, similar goals. So it was very easy to also build friendships with these people and then just level up from that point moving forward.
Yeah, that's a very important point that you made. Like, I remember an artist talking about how sometimes as artists, when we are starting out, we are in a hurry to connect to people ahead of us, and we forget the people who are with us, like walking alongside us. Our peers, exactly. And that's a very important thing to realize, because like you'd see like some of the really dope artists that you and I admire, and they are working with a group of artists. Like you see how they interact online and like, damn, I wish I was part of that group. But all you forget is that those were their peers that they stayed in contact with, they built a community around, and they all won together. So now that they're all winning together, you're like, oh, I wish I was in on that. But you can build that group with your peers, so that when you're winning with your peers, you support each other, you push each other forward. Now you have that community, so don't only just look at people ahead of you, look at those walking side by side with you and build friendships and relationships from there. You never know where they will lead.
Discord also created a great platform for that, because I think with Discord, for Kofi and I, obviously being from Ghana and being able to connect with people in other parts of the world, it easily helped us to build a community, because the groups we were also joining with people who were like-minded. And I mean, obviously it started from getting to know them, but now we can call them friends. And then that has been amazing. And the consistency of communication as well, also very important. Because a lot of these friendships now were built on regularly hanging out, to the extent where now it's like, it's even odd when we didn't hang out. So, so that also happened a lot,
I love that.
And even just to chip one more thing in, something that you said earlier about trying to build genuine human connections in relation to what you just said, like even checking up on these friends that we made online from time to time. It's been a while that we spoke. How have you been? How's life treating you? Having that genuine connection and finding out how people are actually doing, not because you need something from them at that moment, but you actually want to check in with them. All of those things help. It's like the little things that helps to build a relationship where the person realizes like, oh, this person is not just my friend because of what they are getting from me. If they don't hear from me, they want to check in on me and see how I'm also doing. And I feel like that's how a true friend would, or true friends would interact with each other.
For sure.
So it's the little things that matter.
Yeah. I really love what you guys brought up, and it's all about winning together, like you said. Honestly, I feel like there's nothing better than winning together. And that kind of rhymes in a way. Yeah. I think that's such a
sure.
good place to end off. So let's keep
Yeah,
keep winning together, guys. Thank you so much. And I hope
you.
next time or whenever the time comes, we can all like, in person, have a hug, have a high five, and see how celebrate how far we've come. Yeah.
Exactly. Celebrate in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you
Looking
guys.
forward to it.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.